Today we're going to be looking at the new 8GB Raspberry Pi 4. So it's just been announced that the Raspberry Pi 4 will come in an 8GB configuration. So let's dive in and take a look and see how that is. So it's coming in at $75. So the 8GB configuration. So the Raspberry Pi 4 is almost a year old and they've sold quite a number of units. As we can see, they made a mistake, or what we thought was a mistake, in the original documentation for the Raspberry Pi 4, the 1GB, 2GB and 4GB models. So everyone thought they just had a mistake where they said 4GB plus 8GB. But in fact they always had the plan to run the 8GB model. So the actual hardware on the Raspberry Pi can house up to 16 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM, but it looks like they're just going to go with the 8GB. I don't see much point going larger unless you wanted a big Plex server, but 8GB should be sufficient for a board of this size. So what else has changed? So there's a slightly higher peak current required by the new 8GB memory module. They've moved the power supply components on the board. They've moved it down nearer to the USB-C port. Actually moving the new power components down actually caused a significant update on the product. So we could have had this board 3 months earlier. So the Raspberry Pi uses 64-bit architecture, but the operating systems that they provide are only 32 bits, so they can't fully take advantage of that extra processing 64-bit architecture. There are 64-bit operating systems out there, but I've tried to use them. They're not amazing. But now there's an early beta of the Raspberry Pi OS, which they're calling it now. So Raspbian will now convert to Raspberry Pi OS. And we will have a 64-bit. This is big news because it means we can take advantage of that processor, and heavier tasks can be done much quicker. But that's it. That's a quick update on the Raspberry Pi. So like, share, subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified for more videos in the future. So that was this edition of Just Announced.